Hi, I'm Gabriela María Trejo González, and I will give you a short review of the book I read, which is called A Lesson Before Dying. A Lesson Before Dying is a fictional Afro-American novel written by Ernest J. Gaines. The novel explores numerous themes, such as race relations, and we as readers will get to see some of the many injustices of the racist system that black people suffered back in the era of the 40s, and how a 21-year-old man named Jefferson was unjustly sentenced to death penalty for a crime he didn't commit, just for being at the wrong time in the wrong place. And this led us to the second main theme of the novel. We will see the role of Grant Wiggins, who has a huge task in Jefferson's spiritual and mental transformation, and also his own struggle and frustration with the racist system and with his own idea of spiritual salvation. The story takes place in the fictional community of Bayonne, Louisiana, in the South, in the pre-civil rights era in 1947, where black people suffer from many discriminatory treatments, not only from society but from the law itself, since racism was still very present, and their dark skins sustain a barrier between white people. The plot focuses on Jefferson, a black innocent man who was wrongly charged with of the robbery of a liquor store, which resulted in the murder of the storekeeper, which happens to be a white man, and as a result, he was sentenced to death by electrocution. At the same time, and along the way of the story, the plot focuses on the struggles of the black community in the plantation, of the poor and oppressed people in this awful racist environment. And the story starts with Jefferson's trial, where his so-called defense attorney argues that Jefferson couldn't have planned the robbery and murder of the white man, since he lacks the intelligence to plan such thing, and putting him to jail would be like putting a hog in an electric chair. And this desperate racist depiction of him like a dumb animal such as a hog affected Jefferson so badly. However, Jefferson's godmother, Miss Emma, was determined that he will not die like a hog, but like a man, strong and with dignity. Consequently, she turns to Grant Wiggins, the nephew of her friend Tante Lou, and asks him to teach Jefferson to be a man, not a hog. And Wiggins was a black teacher and the only educated man of the community, and he reluctantly agreed to help Jefferson to become a man. The story then moves to the prison setting, where Grant and Reverend Ambrose has the task to help Jefferson to walk into the electric chair with dignity. This book was by far one of the most moving and interesting books I ever read. It led us a huge message regarding the story of Afro-American people, which is that Jefferson, a black man and the main character, was a hero. His death was a significant event for black community. His death will mean the end of the myth that white people are superior and better than any race. And I would like to quote some words that Grant Wiggins told Jefferson when they were having a conversation in the prison. He said, "Those out there are no better than we are, Jefferson. They are worse. That's why they are always looking for a scapegoat, someone else to blame. I want you to show them the difference between what they think you are and what you can be. To them, you're nothing but another nigger. No dignity, no heart, no love for your people, and you can prove them wrong." And indeed, Jefferson proved them wrong. He was a human being, not an animal, not a hog. He was loved by their family and his community, and also, and as well, He loved everyone. He loved his family, and he deserved to die with dignity, even under those cruel and unjust situations. Other words that touched my heart were when Grant told him, "I want you to chip away that myth by standing. I want you, yes you, to call them liars. I want you to show them that you are as much a man, more a man than they can ever be." Indeed, Jefferson was much more a man than the white people who think they are superior than any race, since what makes a man is the sense of humanity they have in their hearts. And Grant is completely right with these powerful words. White supremacists think that they are better than any race, but they are worse. They are inhuman and cruel for thinking that they have the right to take, in this case, a black man's life without any justification and with prejudice. And I think I will give this book 5 out of 5. I will totally recommend it, and you should read it. It's a short book, and the language that the author used is not complicated whatsoever. And I think it's very moving, and it's so relevant to today in so many ways. As you may know, white supremacy is still a belief in many, and many black movements have arisen to speak out against many of the injustices that black people are still suffering from the system. We have seen the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And I think this book allows us as readers to witness from a black man's perspective the injustices they suffered back then. So the book gives you a great insight of the African American community in the 40s, where even though black people were no longer slaves, they didn't enjoy the same freedoms as the white people. They didn't have the same rights, and they had to deal with the cruel discriminatory treatments of the law and society. And sadly, this is still happening, and white supremacy is still part of the belief of many people. And black people are suffering many injustices nowadays. So thank you for watching. This is all.